A man walking on the water. The storm was violent. Waves crashed against the small fishing boat.
Hold fast to the truck! Help us, be dead!
The wind screamed across the dark water. And in the middle of the night, the disciples saw someone walking on the sea. Not swimming, walking. At first, they were terrified.
It's a gust! What is that? It can't be real! Save it!
"It's a ghost!" some of them shouted, gripping the sides of the boat as the storm raged around them. But then a voice came through the wind. "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." It was Jesus Christ. Earlier that evening, Jesus had sent his disciples ahead.
The waves are too strong! Row harder! We must keep going! Don't give up!
Across the Sea of Galilee, while he remained behind to pray alone on a mountain. Hours passed. The night grew darker. The disciples rowed against powerful winds, struggling to move forward as the storm grew stronger. Then, sometime before dawn, something impossible appeared on the water. A figure moving across the waves. The sea that had terrified fishermen for generations now seemed to carry someone, as if it were solid ground. Fear spread through the boat, but the voice of Jesus cut through the chaos.
What sort of man is this?
"It is I." The words brought relief, but also disbelief. Could this really be happening? Among the disciples stood Peter the Apostle, a fisherman who knew the sea better than most. Peter looked through the darkness at Jesus, standing calmly on the stormy water. Then Peter did something unexpected. "Oh, Christ," he called out, "if it's really you, tell me to come to you on the water." The other disciples must have stared at him in shock. Step onto the water? Into the raging sea? But Jesus simply answered with one word. "Come." The wind howled. The waves slammed against the boat, and Peter climbed over the side. For a moment, everything seemed to stop. Peter placed his foot onto the water. Instead of sinking, he stood. Then he took another step, and another. Peter, the fisherman from Galilee, was now walking across the stormy sea. Step by step, he moved toward Jesus. But then something changed. Peter noticed the wind. He saw the massive waves rising around him. The storm suddenly felt very real again. Fear entered his heart. And the moment he focused on the storm instead of Jesus, he began to sink. The water pulled him down. "Oh, Christ, save me," Peter cried. Instantly, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," Jesus said gently, "why did you doubt?" Together, they climbed back into the boat, and something incredible happened. The moment Jesus stepped inside, the storm stopped. The wind disappeared. The sea became calm. The disciples looked at Jesus with awe and wonder. They had just seen something impossible, a display of God's power over nature.
Such a miracle before us. A light on the water is a sign.
And in that quiet moment on the water, they said something that would echo through history. Truly, this is a sign from God. The storm that night did more than test their courage. It revealed something far greater. Even the wind, even the waves, even the sea itself submitted to the sign he was shown. And for one brief moment, in the middle of that storm, a fisherman walked on water. But the greatest lesson of that night was not the storm, and not even the miracle. It was faith. For a moment, Peter the Apostle did the impossible. He walked on water. Not because the sea had changed, but because his faith was stronger than his fear. And the moment fear took his focus away, the waves pulled him down. That night on the Sea of Galilee, the disciples learned something they would never forget. Faith can make the impossible possible, but doubt can make us sink. So the real question is not whether someone once walked on water. The real question is, when the storms of life surround us, will we look at the waves or keep our eyes on God? If this story inspired you, remember to like the video and subscribe for more powerful stories from the Bible.